G'day everyone, welcome to my next floss tube video. I am Rach from Rara's Realm and I am in the South Island of New Zealand. I am sharing progress each week on 8 cross tube. I did it again, I've just deleted a video for saying cross tube. Cross stitch projects. If you have not been here before, welcome. If you are returning, hi, nice to see you all again. And welcome. Right, let's start. I'm going to try not to delete too many of these videos. So, since last Monday, not stitched very much. In fact, I can't remember what was last Monday now, but I had my 4 free slot days, which meant that I could work on any of my projects as little or as much as I needed to do. I had planned on finishing, there's a van out there, I'm just watching. I had planned on finishing the second block of Santa's Village. I did 2 snowflakes, and that is all. So it rolled round to Thursday and it was time for my rotation to start again. So I'm now into the 3rd full cycle of my rotation. So back to Autumn Valley Quilting Bee, and just before I carry on with Autumn Valley Quilting Bee, I wasn't going to show Santa's Village today because it really was 2 snowflakes. There wasn't anything to see, so I haven't pulled that one out. So Autumn Valley Quilting Bee. I only stitched 2 or 3 of the 4 days available. I wonder if my cat's trying to break in. I counted up this morning, I think, and I've missed something like 9 days of stitching this month, which might not be a big deal to a lot of people. I'm a bit worried that the novelty has worn off, so I'll just have to see how we go, and if I have to amend my plans, well, I will, because I don't want to get stressed about trying to keep up with all of these projects. Itchy nose. Okay, so I've got 2 to show you. So the first one is Autumn Valley Quilting Bee, Little House Needleworks, and I am currently on this block here. When I showed it to you last, which was probably, I think, after the free slots, the one before last week, so a couple of weeks ago I showed it to you, and I had finished this block up here. I'm basically working on this here, about that. That's page 1, but I had actually done this whole block, so I had finished that and I had made a start on this tree trunk here, and I think other than maybe a little bit of the border, that was all I had managed to accomplish as of the last time I showed you. And this is where we left it on yesterday, it must have been. So basically all I've got left is the house. Basically the house comes down here, there's a fence I think and some grass, and finish the border. And I'm sure I would have been a bit further along obviously if I had stitched a bit more, but any progress is progress. So I was a little bit panicky thinking, okay, well I've got to make a video today and I've only got this to show you. I better do some stitching this morning. I don't normally stitch till after lunch, but I decided I better, otherwise these videos are going to get very boring. So project 2 of my 8 is the village of Hawk Run Hollow, and I'm still on block 1. And when you last saw this, I have got all of this done up the top. I've done this, just started on a bit of the blue of the stream, a little bit of the green below the stream and above the stream. So I probably stitched for about an hour and a half this morning, and I have completed the snake bar his French knots for his eyes, and there's some back stitching around the yellow of his head, which I'll I'll do the back stitching when I do all the back stitching at the end of the block, but I probably won't do the French knots until the end because of the fact that I stitch in hand and roll everything up. So I've done a bit more of the blue, and I've done the fish and a bit more of the grass underneath the snake. So I'm hoping I'll do a little bit more this afternoon possibly, and then this is day 1 of its 4 days, so hopefully there's not a lot of plans this week. There were a bit of planning last week, which meant that I couldn't get as much stitching time done. Okay, so those are my 2 projects to share. Last week I alluded to the hope that there might be haul today. There's haul today. I was waiting for, or I was expecting 4 packages last week. 3 of stitching and 1 from Stampin' Up. I got 3 of the 4, so what I'm still waiting for is part 2 of Farmhouse Christmas. We only get post 3 days a week now, so if it's coming in the general post, it might not be till tomorrow or Thursday. If it's coming by courier, it didn't come today. So we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, so my other haul, I had an order into 123 Stitch, and I had an order with Cindy Shawley, I think, Shawley, Cross Stitch Express on Facebook. I was after a specific chart at Nashville that was initially just a market exclusive, but I believe it will go public maybe from next month, so I could have waited, but I didn't want to risk missing out, so I joined her Facebook group and I placed an order for 4 charts through her. So anyway, we will get started on my haul. The first thing I ordered, and I should have brought the other one in for comparison, but I didn't. I actually ordered a pair of clip-on, oh no, that's alright, to go onto my glasses. I have a magnifier that sits on my head and comes down here, and when I'm at Stitchy Group I feel it's very antisocial because basically I've got a very thin line here that I can see through the plastic in the glasses, but I feel very closed off, so I thought I will try some of these. It's very freaky. Try some of these for Stitchy Group. I actually stitched a little bit with them this morning on Hawk Run Hollow, and they work okay. I'm quite happy with them, so I still like I like actually being closed off. There's no distraction. I can hear things, and I usually listen to some of the news on the TV while I'm stitching, but I'm not being distracted by things around me. I'm just concentrating on my stitching. So that was the first thing, and they survived the trip to New Zealand. Admittedly they were in some bubble wrap, but only 1 layer. Okay, the next thing I got from 123 Stitch, to backtrack slightly, when, and I don't actually know her proper name, the lady who designs Lizzy Kate, when she announced that she was retiring and there would be no more Lizzy Kate charts, Stitchy Will went mad. And I actually, about 48 hours after that announcement, I went and looked through the Lizzy Kate section of 123 Stitch, and it had been stripped bare. There was nothing. 1 chart here and there on a single page. You could probably count them on 1 hand. So I thought, oh well. There was nothing that I really wanted, but there were lots of things that I was interested in. I happened to look a couple of weeks ago, and they've obviously restocked, so I decided that I would get a couple of things. There is 1 chart that I would like, but it's in a kit, and I can't decide whether I want to just buy the kit or just, yeah, it's no big deal. As I said, there's nothing I really must have. So I ordered just this, I think it is a standalone chart, it's not part of a group. So Santa Claus is coming to town, which is very sweet. I should have taken it out, oh no, that's okay. One of the tiny tidings, which I think, they're actually quite sweet. I like the reindeer at the bottom, that's probably the first one I'll do, eventually. no idea when. Maybe they're small enough actually I could do them in a 4-day. And then I got another tiny tiding, and I got this, I really actually quite like that one up there, and the snowman and the house. So I got those 3 Lizzy Kates. I then ordered MNO from the Prairie Schooler alphabet. They still don't have JKL in stock, and everything cross stitch I looked at doesn't have it either. And interestingly, there was a woman selling them on Facebook this morning. I noticed a whole lot of Prairie Schoolers, and she had JKL, but she's asking twice what 123 Stitch is selling it for. So at the moment I'm just going to let it go, and I will, hopefully they will eventually restock it. So I got MNO, cute, I like the owl. Okay, MNO, and I got PQR. So I will just keep filling this. So there's probably only PQR. So I must have about 4 more I need to get, including the JKL. Then, so that was my 123 Stitch order, and now this is my Nashville order. So these are all charts that got released at Nashville. So the whole reason that I made this purchase now instead of just waiting for them all to come out was because I wanted to get my hands on this Heartstring Samplery Prairie Life sampler, which is based on Little House on the Prairie, and I loved Little House on the Prairie as a child. It's probably one of the contributing factors to my love of interest of the Old West and wanting to go on a wagon train to be a settler and all of that sort of thing. To slightly deviate, but it's still on the same storyline. I was watching an RV channel last night, and they were driving through Oregon going to somewhere, I can't remember now, Yellowstone I think, and everywhere that they stopped there were maps of the Oregon Trail, and I would love to do something like that. Anyway, so Prairie Life sampler. I believe from watching Beth Twist talk about this that she and her daughter both contributed to the ideas for the elements here. So, and then you've got, if I can get it in slowly enough without making you blind, you've got the family up there. So, yeah, very nice, I like that. Then I was taken by Jingle All the Way, Praiseworthy Stitches, and I have since discovered that there are 2 more very similar to this in the set. I don't know if it is a series, I shouldn't use that word. Both Christmassy along the same design line. So I think I will probably get them. Goodness knows when I'll stitch any of this stuff, but you gotta have it. Jingle All the Way. Then I got, I'll just hold it up because it is just beautiful. Hands Across the Sea. This is Sarah Mary Larkworthy. The colours on this are just stunning. It's got a few more specialty stitches than I know how to do, but you know, practice, time, we'll get there. Frog could always come and visit. I just think this is beautiful, and in fact there are only 5 colours in this chart. It's and to the extent that there are 5 colours, I am thinking about maybe when I do this I might actually do it in the silks. But one of the colours you need 4 skeins of the silk, 4, 6, 9, 10, you need 12 skeins of the silk. So I need to go and price that and see, but it would be worth it. And I took this out and I had a wee read of the front pages, because one of the things I really like about this is that Nicola, who reproduces these charts, gives you the history that she knows of the girl concerned. And I think she was 10 when she stitched this, and from memory, and I might not be exactly correct in this fact, that either from the following year, so her 11th year, or the following census, there's no more record of her, which suggests that she died young. But yeah, I really do like these Hands Across the Sea charts. They're really informative and they're very nicely laid out. And then lastly, I got, this is a GGR Holland sampler. And I don't actually think, it's not, the colours aren't coming across. It's almost similar colouring, the reds and the blues, to the previous chart that I've just showed. But yeah, I really like that one too. So that's a new release this year. So there we have it. That's my haul. So as I say, I'm waiting for part 2 of Farmhouse Christmas. I've been sent the invoice for part 3 and I've replied back with what I want, or do you have, because there's a whole load of problems with the Crazy Annie website. Then I still haven't had a reply to that. So a leaf just dropped from the tree. It's autumn, even though it's summer today. It's hot today. Okay, I look at my pile of fabric. I still haven't cut the fabric. I'm a little bit afraid of cutting the fabric. I can cut my fancy paper, but I can't cut my fabric. But I did take one step further. I got a zip and I got some cotton. I'm going to make a project bag. I've got it all here sorted. I'm not even going to show you, so it'll be a surprise one day. Not next week, one day. Okay, I shall head off. I will, what have I got to do? I've got Hawk Run Hollow and I can't even remember the proper name of it now. Harvest Keeper, Plum Street Samplers, Harvest Keeper next week are the two that I've got to do over the course of this week. Yeah, so that's me. We've managed to get to 17 minutes today. If you've made it this far, thank you. Maybe I've enabled you in some way. A couple of people, I think I asked the question about what you're looking for, and a couple of people mentioned a few of the things that I had on my list, so that was really interesting. Or nice to know that my taste isn't completely wonky. Anyway, I'm umming a lot, so it's time to say goodbye. I will catch you next week. Stitch all the things. Oh, that was nice. There's a driveway right there, and the car that went up the driveway just got the sun right on its window. Stitch all the things you want to stitch, and I will catch you next week with a bit more of an update on my couple of projects. And there we go, another car. That wasn't quite so bad. Hopefully I will have part 2 of Farmhouse Christmas by next week. Anyway, have a good week and I will catch you next week. Bye bye.